check.
I'm pretty sure.
You know that.
Ah, yo pensé que estaba aquí. ¿Cómo que me metieron más juntas? No, por favor.
No, sube. Tengo que decir como que no es sí, que me parece que hay no nada, me parece que es que hay ahora tenemos
Hello. How are you?
Por favor, porque estáis de ese cara, en serio. Cuando llego ya acá.
Es que
Let me do it for you. Watch this.
So I'm going to need an explanation.
Thank you.
It's a really good color.
Thanks. I like it. I love pink. I wear pink all the time. It's a little short when I fit, but
No, looks
Just started working. It'll probably work for the rest of the life. And for some reason, I don't understand why. But like, there was just always some text messages from not which it only did that after the second. It didn't do that before.
hello, how are you? Good, how are you? Good. check out because then I don't have. I got y'all though. I got.
Oh, really?
Y'all. There's
Okay.
no scan card, so I just type your name and search it. Okay, I got you. And I got you. We're good. I got you. Bless you.
Thank you.
Yeah, that one's gonna be, that one's going to the archives. That must have, I must have responded.
How are you? Hello.
Hey, do you have an extra copy of the gym?
Welcome. Would you like to see our previous notices or handouts?
Your what?
Would you like to see our previous notices or handouts?
Sure. If I'm not taking whatever that you need.
Oh, I don't know. You're good.
Thank you.
We make extras, I just don't know where they are.
Okay.
Is this the phone box? Is that what this is over here, Megan?
Yes.
Good, yourself?
First phone in the phone box. Nice.
There, so you're not.
Yes, that's what I'm sitting here.
That's why I sit behind that pillar right there.
And there's a room behind the pillar.
Oh. Nick.
I was trying to look in the dark. I see how it looks.
Anybody want me to?
Yeah, they said it was audio only.
Anybody want me to put their phones in the box?
Yeah, so.
Y'all want me to put your phones in the box?
Hopefully do that. Yeah, hopefully.
Definitely not required, but highly. Ooh, great. I'm so sorry. I
Thank you.
Hey, how are you doing today?
You guys supposed to get
Good, thank you.
Mercy.
Yeah, pretty good.
Right.
Ano yan? Ano to? Pag ano yun, may katabi. How was the concert? Good friend here. So
But it makes sense because your dad made a joke about education. Or he mentioned.
What?
Oh.
Like, they asked me for
Exactly right.
Did, are you like a super big fan?
well, I mean,
like, how did I describe this?
That's right.
Good job, Mitzi. So you may.
All right, I'm still, you know, but
Yeah.
2 weeks, the clock will be on right. I don't know, are you coming tomorrow? Just let it be.
I heard.
Hey, how are you?
Page context.
I already put my
I sent you. Oh. That's funny.
How are you?
How are
We have a lot of presents.
You're like, I can't find it.
Hey guys, don't forget to put your phone in the boxes. Make sure you have the sound off, and if possible, turn the vibration down.
Oh my God, you put your cover on
Where is my headphone? I'm actually, I don't understand where it is.
I don't know. All of us
I look like
another one.
That's the same
That's what I
Those are just leftovers from exam. Nobody. Sorry.
Do I need for the what?
why you time.
Are we working? Yay! No, y'all.
I have 3
I'm looking. Find it. Is that it? Can you use your name? Oh, silence.
Where's that? Do you know where the phone goes?
Where's the phone box?
They're supposed to be. They just got
Is it not behind?
It's up. You just catch it.
No, please don't do that.
Thank you so
Oh, hey, there's one right there. Sorry.
It's a good head. Just kidding.
Oh, I'm sorry. I call this meeting to order at 5 o'clock. If there are no objections, we will approve the minutes from last week as is. Okay. Are there any students here on behalf of Open Forum? Okay, we will go into presenters. Up first, we have Ms. Erica Gutierrez. She is the new Latino/Hispanic Outreach Coordinator. So if there are no objections, I will suspend the rules for 10 minutes to allow her to present.
Okay. Hi everyone, my name is Erica Gutierrez, and I'm so excited to be here with you guys today. So I just want to share with you guys a little bit about me and my new role. So I am a UCA alum. I graduated back in 2014 with a degree in management. I'm currently working on my MBA. I worked in admissions in the Office of Admissions here at UCA for about 2 years. And that's where this journey for me really began. I had the opportunity to work with the Office of Community and Diversity on different projects, and I was able to see the different challenges that we face as minority students. Being one, I had my personal challenges that I faced. So I'm really excited to be in this role, and I'll share with you guys a little bit about what we're working on. So part of my job is to be an advisor for LSA, so the Latino Student Association. LSA focuses on educating the student body and the community about different Latino cultures through different events, different speakers programs that we have throughout the year. So I'll be advising them and working with them. I will also be working on developing programs and providing services that will increase university access and success to Hispanic students. So in other words, we want to provide support for our current Hispanic and Latino students as well as minority students here at UCA to ensure that they're going to be attending and pursuing higher education goals. And of course, to get them to come to UCA and to graduate from UCA. Another area that I will focus on is strengthening UCA's outreach initiatives in the Hispanic community via internal and external relationships. So not only working with different departments on campus, but also with the City of Conway to develop relationships and awareness of different and unique challenges that we face as minority students. So really and personally, at the end of the day, we want Hispanic, Latino students, minority students to really feel supported and to ensure they have all the resources that they need to be successful. And again, on a more personal level, my dream is just to make this journey easier on minority students. Having, walk the walk, as I like to tell the students that I'm working with, I want them to know that they have somebody that they can come to and that will support them along the way, as well as other faculty and staff here at UCA. So yeah, I just want to be able to take this opportunity to give back to a place that has given me so much. And thank you guys so much for having me.
Are there any questions?
Senator Mayor's Rising and speaking. What is your office location and office hours?
Yes, great question. So my office is located in Bernard Hall, 207, and I'm available anytime. So please come by and see me, 8 to 4:30 normally, but sometimes I am there later. And if you need me, of course, I will make it a point to be available.
Thank you.
Are there any other questions? Thank you so much for coming. Okay. Up next, we have Dr. Angela Webster, and she's the Associate Vice President for Institutional Diversity. And so if there are no objections, I will suspend the rules for 10 minutes to allow her to present.
Hello, I'm back. Tickled to be here, of course. And thank you for putting me behind the lovely and youthful. Something about that, it's just a little unfair. Okay, but it's always great to stand before this amazing body. When I think about the influence and the impact that SGA has on the UCA campus, I'm reminded of one of my favorite leadership quotes. And these are the words of John Quincy Adams. If your actions inspire others to dream more, to learn more, to do more, and become more, you are a leader. So why don't you celebrate your efforts tonight? I am a big Oprah Winfrey fan, and so I agree with her words when she says, the more you celebrate your life, the more in life there is to celebrate. So you should continue to celebrate yourself. And on that note, I have 2 more kudos before I have an information item for you. I wanted to remind you of our gratitude for your funding the lactation suites. We now have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And there in each area of the campus, of course, we have Old Main and Tourism Library in the center. And I don't know where I am. Somewhere we have Brewer Hageman and the Student Health Center. And then on the other end of campus, we have the Lewis Science Center in the older building. So you helped us to launch those, and your funding actually helps us to continue to develop those and have more supplies and just make it much more comfortable for the nursing mothers. And so we appreciate that. Yeah, more love, yeah. And the second kudo, make this is the third. The third kudo is that we hosted our first Amigo Fest this weekend. We had an Amigo Cup for 7 years. We converted it to a festival, which was really fun. But I want you to know that we had 105 student volunteers. Isn't that amazing or what? They were from various organizations, from the Latino Student Association, Students for the Propagation of Black Culture. We had nursing students, occupational therapy students. We had students from Spanish courses. And then we just had some willing souls who showed up. So, do UCA students rock or what? And so I wanted to bring to your attention that in the last year, the diversity and training offices have tried to capture the spirit and the character of what we do. And so we now have pronouncements that we call diversity commitments, and I wanted to share those with you. Overall, we serve to help UCA become Arkansas's premier university for diversity and inclusive excellence. Specifically, the Office of Institutional Diversity fosters a diverse and inclusive environment where individuals feel visible, valued, and validated. When we work with students in our Office of Diversity and Community, we seek to educate, engage, and empower. Our Office of University Training, led by the marvelous Ms. Charlotte Strickland, who's one of your advisors. In her office, we aspire to educate, equip, and encourage. We also have an academic liaison who's out and about on the campus to listen, engage, adapt, and promote our work. And then we also have a director of assessment who helps us to evaluate, measure, and improve our work. So we really believe that our work is important on the campus because we know that we find comfort in sameness, but we find growth in difference. And so that really puts our organization in alignment with our diversity statement. So the last item that I have is that we're proposing a name change from the Office of Institutional Diversity to the Office of Institutional Diversity and Inclusion. Now, UCA's diversity statement speaks to the notion of always recruiting and retaining a diverse student, faculty, and staff community. So the diversity part is aligned with the recruitment, and then the inclusion part is aligned with retaining and retention. In essence, diversity, I'm going to try to put this in more youthful terms. Diversity is being invited to the party. Inclusion is being asked to dance. Does that make sense? So what we're going to do, and take a little time now, is to give you opportunities to talk about that, ask any questions, offer any clarity around it, and then I'm finished for the day.
Senator Gilbert.
How will changing the name benefit UCA as a whole?
Sure. Well, it takes the focus off of just diversity and recruiting to retaining, because really a sense of belonging is not being a wallflower on the campus. So we want all of our students to have an integral role in the campus. We want all of our students to feel like they belong here. And this is students, faculty, and staff. And it's just a way of not only focusing on one part of our diversity statement, to focusing on both.
Senator Sierra.
Well, I just wanted to say three things, because I went to talk to Hiroshima today. So the first one about the Amigo Fest. Well, congratulations, from the people that are here, and I heard it was pretty good. But I heard some complaints about that it's only targeted to the Mexican community, and it should be bigger since it's an Amigo Fest, in the society. So that part, and also like, aside from that, also I think we should have a European fest, or a Bahamian fest, an Asian fest, like all targeted all the communities. Our students here at UCA. So that. The second one is about international engagement. I have heard, and I have myself, I have some trouble trying to communicate with international engagement directly. I feel the communication is distant, and for example, I was trying to, since I became the international representative, I emailed them to include me in the meetings, or communicated with me. And I just went to a meeting with them, but I still feel, and I wanted to communicate them with you, to have that communication better, to be more close with them. So I don't know if you have any advice for me, with that, or work on that. And the third one would be that I didn't know, and Sheila just told me about it, is the minorities mentorship program. Be more inclusive of the international students, because I didn't know what it was, and I came here last year. So like if that could be include them, and I would love to be a mentor for new international students. So I'll be able to work with that.
Thank you. Do I have time to speak to some of those? Yeah. Okay. Starting with the Amigo Fest. We did our hardest to extend the olive branch to other Latin American communities, and we didn't get any takers, but we're not giving up on that because we don't want it to be solely a Mexican celebration. So thank you for noticing that, and we started to work with that.
The international engagement.
The connection with them? Yes,
Yeah,
we have some common, they're a different department than we are, but we do have some partnerships. For instance, we have what we call a Bridge the Gap program. This fall, we will host a passport fair with them. But as far as you're not being able to connect with them, if you connect with us, we can give you names of people to make sure that your concerns are addressed, and then you can just connect with them.
And the third one is the minority mentorship program.
Okay. That program has been historically, it started for African American students in particular. It has expanded to Latino students, and that's really a function of resources. But we're open to that, and we can certainly continue to try to extend the net on that. And we have not historically included international students because we were under the impression that your international community has its own programming, but there's new leadership now, so we can reach out to bridge that gap again.
Yeah, we just wanted to say that if you wanted to include me, have me go over there and talk to you. We come out and ask me a question about what I think.
Well,
I don't know.
Okay, I would like for you to just come to talk with me, because I would like to go more in depth than the time allows here. to really hear what's in your heart to make sure we're addressing all your concerns. Thank you so much. Okay. Thank you. Thank you.
If there are no objections, I'll suspend the rules for 5 more minutes to allow for questions / concerns. Does anyone have any other questions or any type of feedback? Well, okay. Thank you so much for coming. Thank you guys for being here and for introducing yourselves. Okay. Alrighty. Up next, we have Mr. Jim Neighbors, the General Manager of Airmark. So if there are no objections, I will suspend the rules for 10 minutes to allow them to present.
Hey everyone, I met with your food service committee last Monday. So we got a few things, I think, accomplished. I know some things in the works. We're meeting with my client next Monday. And we're going to talk about some things, some signage and different things for the use of leftover declining balance. And I know that was one big thing that a lot of the students want to see. I know we started a couple of years ago doing the stamp out or swipe out hunger. And that is not really to use your swipes, but we just provide 350 meals every semester to different places in Conway, such as the Women's Shelter, Slow Food Cafe, 2 times a semester for Bare Essentials here on campus, to the UCA Food Bank. So those are all in the process still doing too. I think that we talked a little bit about some different options maybe in the cafeteria, but that was kind of, most of them were to extend hours and that sort of thing. We talked about those in the past. And anytime we extend hours, when you give, you got to take from somewhere. So we just have to look at that, see if we really wanted to extend hours or if we maybe just wanted to swap some hours. But when you look at the 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. time frame in the cafeteria, we feed approximately 20 people during that entire time. So I don't know that extending later, unless 9 p.m. is not late enough and you think that we need to go later than that, I don't know that it would really benefit that many folks. So something we can look at, I know we're going to look at a bunch more of that next week. Just some things in the pipes that I think you might be aware of, you might have heard rumors of. So just let me clear a couple of things up for you. Starbucks will be shut down next summer because it's completely being gutted and renovated. We're required to do a 10-year renovation on it. Next summer will be our 10 years that we've had it open. The library has been very gracious, and they have given us additional space. So there is additional space to work with. So we will be expanding not only the footprint, but hopefully we're going to be able to take over where the big purple umbrellas are. That space has also been given to us for Starbucks use, so that they'll be able to brand that as a Starbucks sitting area outside. So that's one exciting thing happening. I know that there's a couple of things. I know Casey, y'all all know Casey Schlitter. I think most of you, our marketing director. She's got 9 schools and instead of just us at UCA, but she always helps us out with a lot of different things, and she's really involved in that. She's also about to send out a survey because there's been talk of maybe replacing a couple of things, 1, maybe 2 in the food court. So what she'll do is she's going to be sending out surveys to find out what type of concept you'd like to see. Nothing brand names. We won't suggest any brand names. It'll be like, would you like to see a taco place? Would you like to see barbecue? Would you like to see another sandwich shop? Well, and we would look at those and then come to the decision and be able to tell you what kind of brands we could bring in. But brand names would not be mentioned right off the bat. So, because as most of us know, Taco Bell never. They're too close within where the close flies. So their franchisees would never let that happen here. So those are just some things in the pipes for next summer, nearly all of them. So I know that I'm also working to get some type of monitors in the Christian cafeteria, so they'll be at every station. So you won't have to be like this looking at all the nutritional information, because it is out everywhere. But to make it easier for everybody to see, we're looking at having monitors that hopefully sometime next spring. Okay, now I'll open up for questions.
Sir, go ahead.
Okay, I have 2 things. One, a student came to me with vegetarian concerns because they feel like this semester there are fewer vegetarian options in the student center than there were in previous semesters, including, I went down there to check, and one thing I did notice is the veggie burgers are gone from Muya's, and they said that there was also fewer veggie options at Einstein's and elsewhere. Don't know much about that, but I thought I'd bring that to your attention. The second thing, which I'm sorry I didn't bring to a committee prior, but I got news yesterday from one of my RA friends who has the details if you need them, and I don't really know if this is your department or not, but they were overcharged themselves on their meal plan and are working it with financial aid, and they found out that 2 other people in their building were also overcharged on their meal plan.
That really depends on how they purchase their meal plan, because it could have been through Air Market, it was on their website. Otherwise, it was through the university, through the Bear Card office, or whenever they signed up originally. So I really don't know. So if they need me, I'll be glad to look at it. But I just, at this point, I don't know where they purchase it.
I just want you to know the information.
Okay, perfect. And then the other question was about
Vegetarian
options. I think that, believe me, Casey has been really involved in this. Muya has taken away their turkey burger and their veggie burger on college campuses, not in their freestanding stores. So let me explain, because there were tweets going out about it Friday, and there's a reason I don't know how to tweet, and the reason Casey won't let me tweet, and that's because I was hot. Someone in Muya corporate emailed the student at UCA back and said that's not true. Every Muya has veggie burgers and turkey burgers. So I was like, well, now I'm a liar. So believe me, I'm on the phone with them going, no. So anyway, that was a whole mix-up on an owner's daughter email or tweeting to one of our students. Has nothing to do with it. Their father owns some franchises that are freestanding, not on college campuses. And basically, in a nutshell, they're a national brand. We're just like if Chick-fil-A tells us this is what you serve, that's what we serve. If Quiznos tells us this is what you serve, that's what we serve. So believe me, the concerns not only from me, but other campuses that have Muya has been brought up again, because it took away a lot of our healthy options that people love in retail.
Just to touch on the Muya side, they were very involved in the prep and planning last summer when they were talking about the menu. They did this on their licensed stores, like on college campuses, because of their biggest point of feedback from students was speed of service with Muya, because it's a fresh product, it does take a little longer to get out. So they minimized the college footprint menu to be a little bit more strategic to the products that are moving the most. I promise when it happened, we raised flags about it, but they actually said, well, if this was a Chick-fil-A or something, then we wouldn't push back as much. So the national brand side of that did say, we're going to try this. We are still pushing from our side as well as other colleges I work with, just to let them know, okay, this is also a very strategic group of students. They know what they want to eat, and so we're on your side with that too. And it's not a bad partnership. We love Muya, and they're great to work with. It's just a move they made to see if it helps speed service for the majority of their customers. That being said, there's some learning curves there. And then on the Einstein side, I'll do some digging. I haven't heard it from Einstein, but I'm very aware of Muya because of the sweet side of it. But let us look into Einstein's and see if that's for sure. I know that they are constantly, you'll notice, with seasonal products and whatnot, because of what they offer on their menu, they're constantly evolving. Like, their menu never stays still. So it very well could have. That being said, it could be back next month. Tell them, stay with us, don't give up, and then also work with our dietitian. Because on the retail side, I do think there's been some hiccups. On the dining hall side, I think we've come to a really good place with our vegetarian menu, and it's growing, it's getting better. Our vegan entrees are phenomenal. I eat them every time I'm here. And so I know that's something definitely to work with, because that's something, it is a to-go meal. It is a dining hall, so it doesn't have that brand on it, but it is a really good entree, and you can follow that online or on our app. So I would suggest that to them as well. But let me look into Einstein to get some specifics.
And then if I can just, go ahead. No, I was just going to say, if I can say something about vegan and vegetarian, we get a lot of comments on it that there's still people who would like to see more options. We have to realize that really true vegans on this campus are not to where we'd have to have an entire station set for just vegans. So we have really, our production team, anytime I get a voice of consumer card that mentions something they'd like to see in vegan or something they'd like us to have, we really try to get that, and we really try to jump on it and change our menus just to include more for that part of our campus population. So if y'all get your folks to fill out DOC cards, so voice consumer cards. So I respond to them if there's a problem with them. If I get scored below 9, if I get an 8 or below, respond to them personally, and I do it within 48 hours. And it always brings up good things, and it always helps us understand what really the students are doing. So it's a real important part of what we do.
Senator Robinson.
Hey, how are you?
Good.
Two things. One, did you do any digging into the to-go boxes and if it's been cleared by the health
It
department?
has been cleared. I can get them. The only thing is we talked, I'd really like for a survey to be done because I'll only do one type. So if people are not willing to pay the $5 to get their initial box and they're reusable, that could be a problem for a lot of people on campus. And I just want to make sure that I'm not stopping the program. And then I'm going to be going from doing, I don't know, 750 a week down to 200 because then I know that all these not servicing all the people. That's still my concern with that.
Okay. And then I guess we can do a survey. I don't know how SGA does surveys. But,
And if everybody does everybody know what you're talking about? Do you want me to explain a little bit?
so yeah, you can explain.
Sure. There are to-go boxes that are made that we purchased years ago, but the program just never took off. Then the health department made a stop. They're hard plastic and they're reusable. So what we do is we charge the student $5 for that to-go box. Then there's never styrofoam boxes anymore. They bring that back. They bring it back dirty because we sanitize it. It goes through the wash and gets sanitized, and we give them a clean one every time they come in to get their to-go meal. So it's just kind of a continually rolling thing. You pay $5 up front to get it, you never pay anything else. But that's just so we can purchase all of those because they're not inexpensive things to purchase. But again, what makes me worry is just that there's going to be students that are going to want to put out $5 or that simply just can't to be involved in the to-go program. So we just need to make sure that somehow those surveys or somehow the campus is ready for us to do that.
And then my second thing was, I know last week when we talked about like food options in the cafeteria, one thing I thought that was brought up today was some other like Airmark universities, they have like this like specific theme days. So for example, Fridays would be Catfish Friday, every Friday. Thursday would be Chicken Wing Thursday. Wednesday would be, I can't even think. But like each week they had a specific, this is the food that's gonna be, and it's super good, and the cafeteria is packed every week on these 2 days.
There's we can certainly do something like that if y'all can come up with a day that y'all want to see. I mean, right now, I know in our district, I think SAU is the only school that does it, so Southern Arkansas University does it, and they do a soul food Wednesdays. So they have, like, I was there last Wednesday doing some training. They had ribs and greens, and so I mean, it's really, but that's in there. I believe that's in the contract.
Yeah.
With the university to have that special day every single week because that's what the students there really wanted to see.
You like soul food, something?
Yeah.
It's good. I've been there, ate it.
Yeah, I was there last Wednesday. It was really good.
There are several accounts that have those specific days for the week, and some of them are written in the contract. We've got a Nugget contract agreement at UAM, and we've got all kinds of contracts out there depending on the student one. But what time do we need to take a time break?
No, if there are no objections, I will suspend the rules for 5 more minutes for questions.
So the answer is yes, it can
But
be
you're
done.
spot on. It can
You just
happen.
need to let us know what you're looking at.
Okay.
Senator Teeter.
First off, thank you for coming here today and thank you for your hard work.
Sure.
Firstly, I don't know if you've noticed, but I have gotten several dirty cups and several dirty plates.
Okay.
I know that some other students have also got that, so I was just curious, what are you doing to sanitize the plates completely?
Well, to sanitize completely, and that's if something's on it, it's got crusted on, it can even happen at the last rinse cycle because they go through an automatic wash, and then the rinse cycle has to be 180 degrees. Is the temperature that it has to reach, and it's always at that. We temp it 2, 3, 4 times every shift to make sure it is. So that's just something that's probably gotten set between meal periods in the back, gotten something hardened on it, and hasn't come off. So anytime, I apologize, but when you do 3,700 dishes of plates a day, you know, it's going to happen. But what I'd really like you to do, if you'll take those to like Miss Pat or someone at the main line and let them have it, and then at least that way I can kind of keep a record of how often is that happening and what are we doing wrong that we would change to prevent.
Thank you, sir.
Absolutely, thank you.
Senator Griffin.
When this Starbucks gonna open up back?
after it's shut down in December?
Oh, it'll just be the summer months. So we'll be open back in time for classes. It's just the last, I guess, 2 or 3 years we've opened it all summer long. And this next summer, it won't, it'll be shut down all summer.
Jim, are you also, and I'm not committing this, sorry, I opened my mouth. Isn't Einstein's open for coffee service in the summer?
Einstein's open.
Just, so if you
Monday
have people
through
that are here, let
Friday.
them know there will be a roasted coffee available that'll substitute. I know it's not our brand sometimes, but it is our very good cup of coffee. So I don't want them to think there's no coffee for the summer, but this is a much needed facelift, a much needed expansion. You guys have been in there.
So,
I know you mentioned earlier about like students who fill out voice cards. Where can they file those at?
All in cashier, just about anywhere here. And in the cafeteria, I know they've got them at each person's station. They're just on a card that tells you the address to go in. And every time you enter, it's $50 a quarter that you're entered in to draw to win. But that's from each campus. So the less we have, the better for y'all for the chances. But just to talk about voice of consumer, this is how we've pushed it this year. Last year total, we did 534 44 responses total. This year in September alone, we did 232, and 160 of those were from the cafeteria, which is just unheard of. But that's what's helped us to make these few changes that we've made this year, because we've had those ideas.
are there any other questions? Oh, Sarah Ramirez.
Senator Ramirez, reason to speak. I know that whenever I want to get like fish options, the only options are available are tilapia. I was wondering if there's any way we can divert that and just get catfish or like tuna, because tilapia can get very like bland after a while of having it.
Yeah. I can certainly look at the different options we have available. And, you know, everything's price is not going to be salmon, but what is that? The same price ranges, but I'm sure that there's other options out there.
Yeah, and also last year I had clam chowder. The cafeteria offered it one time last year, and like I really enjoyed it. And I was wondering if you could expand that also.
Put that back on rotation?
Yeah, that'd be great.
Are there any other questions? Sarah Markley?
Just out of curiosity with to-go boxes, would it be $5 a semester or an academic year?
Well, it probably, I mean, it depends on how fast we can do surveys and find out what people want. But that could probably be done as quickly as next spring. It wouldn't be during the semester, I'd wait till the beginning of the semester. So that the board can get out to everyone that it's changed, that it's no longer to-go boxes, the styrofoam kind. And I think that's the big issue, is the styrofoam, the trash, and just being left everywhere.
It's a one-time injury. Was that your question?
I'm sorry, I think you were saying.
It was a one-time injury?
Yes.
You don't pay every semester.
So it's like $5.
You pay $5. It almost works like a token where you get that. Does that make sense? And then it just rotates as you come in and out. So you don't have to have, like, if you don't want it to go, you turn your box in. Some campuses do where you get a token, and that's what you keep up with, so that when you come back, you get the token back in and get a new box. Because you may not want to go every time. Likewise, you don't want to carry around the box every time. So it's not convenient.
Thank you.
Sarah Barnes.
I know we have yet to get the survey results, so once that's, clarified, that'll be, kind of the answer to this, but could the $5 for the to-go boxes somehow be instituted into like meal plan payment each year in some way? I don't know if it could just be added on. If somebody has a meal plan that would allow them to go to the cafeteria, it could be something that, but that also like extends to people off campus. It's just a thought.
Yeah, I mean, we can certainly look at that, but then when you're talking about changing the pricing and all that for everyone, or just a select few, that's gonna be probably a rough thing to get able to go on.
Are there any other questions?
Okay.
Thank you so much.
Thank y'all, appreciate it.
Okay, so I will go into my report. Just a quick date for you guys. So President Davis's investiture, which is kind of like a how do I describe it? A coronation ceremony slash inaugural for a university president. It's a really big deal. The governor will be here, other political leaders, as well as university presidents from other institutions will be here for this day. It is going to be October 26th. It is a Thursday at 2 p.m. in Reynolds, and this is for the actual ceremony. And so it's open to the public, so please make sure that you have that on your calendars, and if you can attend, the attire will be more business professional. So just kind of keep that in mind and make sure that you have that down. Up next, so Senator Burton, I don't know why I said Martin, I'm so sorry. Senator Burton and I are serving on the Provost Search Committee, and we had our first meeting today with the national firm from Atlanta. And so just a kind of timeline for you guys. We will be working through applicants and all of that in the next few months, and late February to early March, we hope to have some candidates here on campus. So we'll be able, typically how it goes with search committees, SGA has a little time block that we get a chance to ask the candidates some questions and kind of get to know them better, and then provide feedback from that. And so that will be around that time frame, and we hope to have someone named around the spring break time frame. And so I will keep you guys updated on that. We're really excited, and it's going to be a lot of work, but it's something very, very important for our university. And then lastly, email etiquette. Just please, just another reminder, just make sure that you're using the proper etiquette whenever you email professors and deans. Make sure that you just give it a quick little Google search to differentiate whether they're a professor or a doctor, and just put in that little bit of extra effort for that. And then also, if you send an email to like a dean or someone on administration, be sure to CC me and your committee chair, just so if I'm approached by them, I'm kind of in the know of what's going on, and so I can just read it and just, you know, be in the know that this is happening and that you sent this email, so that if they come and ask me what's this about, I'm able to respond to them. So just a few quick little reminders, and that is all that I have. Are there any questions? No? Okay. Vice President Reagan.
So the first thing is our holiday reception with President Davis. I'm going to send around a little sheet for you guys to sign up. Put down if you have any dietary restrictions, what your name is if you're coming. It has a date and the time, and I'll say it out loud. And you are allowed a +1, so let me know if you're bringing a +1. It's going to be December 7th at 6 p.m. This is the night before study day of our finals week. It's coming up. Yeah, I'm really excited. And it's going to be like heavy appetizers that you would be able to fill up on, but it's not like a seated meal. I always eat very well at this reception. Okay, also, fall retreat evaluations. I gave all of you, it has a lot of words on the front and the back, just to let you know what the evaluations look like for retreat. And to clarify, this might not make a lot of sense to you. The top ones up here with the decimal point, those are the averages. And then down here, so where it says like red 2, it just means 2 people said bread was something they like the most. It doesn't mean bread is ranked 2. Like, that's what that means. The number is how many people additionally put that. And if there's no number, it's just one person felt that way. Just to clarify that one. But I wanted you to know that we've compiled it and we looked at it, and it's part of our planning process for next year. So thank you for taking the time to fill those out and give your feedback. Also, okay, student life. If my student life committee, the standing committee, could stay after for a little bit to chat, I have exciting new things for us. I hope that piques your interest. I'm really jazzed. So just hang out.
Are there any questions for Vice President Senator Dykes?
If somebody want to use their +1, then I have it. Okay. Yeah, if you have an extra +1, please get in contact with Senator Dykes, because she has a lot of friends.
Sarah, on your side.
Did you say where the
It will be at President Davis's home. And it will be very decorated. I broke my thing.
Are there any other questions for Vice President? No? Okay, awesome. Thank you so much. Vice President McAfee.
Okay, so for today's segment of Meet the Execs, our first, well, hold on. I'll get it.
Is it on screen?
No, I just forget that. I have to do this first. So our first Meet the Exec is, there she is, Christina Madsen. She's a long title. She's the Associate Vice President for Communications, Public Relations, and Marketing. So you might see her appearing on the Bear Tales on Facebook. I always see her around campus in front of a camera being very excited talking about things. So she was at our admin banquet, and she's a great ally for SGA. So next, we have Mr. Warren Riedenauer. He's General Counsel, as his title. And he was also at our admin banquet and a great ally for SGA. So when you see these faces on campus, just make sure you say hi and thank them for giving their time and service to UCA. So that's all I have for Meet the Execs. There we go. All right, so next for the senator fun fact, this senator had a pet cockroach for 4 days at the young age of 9.
Senator Burton.
Nope.
Sarah Redding. Oh, sorry.
Oh,
I just heard
Senator Askew.
You did.
Incorrect.
Any other? Senator Burton.
Vice President Powell.
Incorrect.
Senator Gilbreth.
Senator Teeter?
No.
Senator Barnes.
Senator Smith.
No.
Any other guesses? Oh, sorry. I can't see you. Sarah Ramirez.
Senator McGarry.
Senator Stock.
Senator Morrison.
No. Senator Burton.
Senator DePersia.
Yay! Ding, ding, ding. So Senator DePersia held a pet cockroach for 4 days at the young age of 9. How did that affect your life so far?
You know, I don't know. I think it crushed me whenever my mom saw it on the kitchen counter and killed it.
Oh, very sad. Well, Senator Burton comes to me afterwards, and I have a Get Out Demerit free card for you. And the last 2 winners never came and saw me, so I still have it's. And then who? Okay, y'all come see me in my office after meeting, and I'll hand you your card. And last but not least, our Senator of the Week this week is described as already making huge accomplishments within this person's first year being a committee chair and first month being a committee chair. This person advocates daily, even through just friendly conversation. A quote used during this nomination was, "This person has an inspiration to inspire." So Senator Marbley, congratulations. Thank you, Senator Dykes, for such an inspiring nomination. If you didn't catch it, the nominations are now online. It was done via a Google form attached with the email that included the minutes. So we didn't have, well, Senator Dykes was the only nomination, but very well deserving. And the PR committee was so delighted to read what she had to say about Senator Marbley. And so we would love to have more nominations. So it makes it a little hard for us, equally as enjoyable. So if you have any questions or are having any problems with the Google form, please just send me a text, email me, let me know, and I'll get that fixed. So thank you so much.
Are there any questions for Vice President Maxson? Sarah Martin.
Okay, I don't have a question for Vice President Empathy, but I do have one for Vice President Ricky. What's the dress code for the holiday reception?
Good question. Yes.
like business casual kind of, but like Christmas happy, holiday happy. I don't know if that makes any sense. You can be festive, but like keep it professional.
Don't show up with lights on yourself or bells or anything like that.
Yeah.
Only red.
Yeah.
It is inclusive to all celebrations of holiday at this time. Not just Christmas. Thank you.
Okay. Vice President Powell.
Great. Alrighty. So and I cannot remember, and I didn't take the time to look beforehand, but so Jeffrey Buchholz, and he's my point here, is someone we've been talking about bringing to campus. Primarily, exec has been talking since the summer as one of our goals from our executive retreat. Jeffrey Buchholz is a speaker on predominantly Title IX issues, so sexual assault, domestic violence, issues such as that. And he's a speaker that he actually came last year, was incredibly effective, and had a great impact not only on students, but he's well received by students, faculty, and staff. Really a phenomenal speaker, hilarious guy, and knows, I mean, is probably one of the best people I've ever seen speak on the issue and deliver it in such a way that you're actually drawn into the subject, and you come out with like a positive experience and saying like, oh, that wasn't just like heart killing to like listen to that. It was like, okay, like let's go do something about it. And for that reason, we really made it a priority on our list to try and bring him back. So next semester primarily, or I guess what we're looking at and what we've kind of looked at already is early February to bring him to campus, and he'd be able to speak during, we're hoping, 2 sessions. So we try and work him a lot in the one day that he'd be able to be here. But that's something that SGA would kind of spearhead and hopefully get him on campus and then help promote. And obviously we'd love to, if y'all have, other niches on campus that you think might be interested, we'd obviously love to kind of get people together and get organizations to be bringing their members to it. Not just like an individual basis, but have groups of people come to this. And we're hoping to get rooms that have lots of space so that people can actually, so we can pack out these rooms so that more people can actually hear what he has to say. We think that it's a pretty needed conversation, pretty needed subject to be talked about, not only on our campus, but on other university campuses. And I don't think that there's any better time than as soon as we can get him here. And that's really about as soon as we can get him here. So y'all be looking out for that. And we're pretty excited to bring him back. He really was fantastic. My next point, short and sweet. So for those of you who were on Senate last year, you were aware that we packed a lot of meals for the Bear Central's food pantry. And we packed more meals than they were able to handle, which is not a bad thing for a food pantry to have. And so the rest of them kind of sat here for a little while. Well, we have given those to Soul Food Cafe, so they're out of chambers and hopefully going to be eaten pretty soon. So thank you all again for those who helped pack, and hopefully we'll find something similar to do this next year. So that's all I got.
Are there any questions for Vice President Powell? Just a quick comment, round of applause for Vice President Riggins for loading them up and taking them to the Soul Food Cafe.
I know.
All right. Okay, we'll go into standing committee reports. Academic Affairs, Senator Ettinger Lucero.
Okay, so I actually have a lot to talk about tonight. So all of the Academic Affairs Committee members have reached out to their academic college deans to schedule meetings with them. I have a meeting with Dr. Ishii on Friday, the Dean of the College of Health and Behavioral Sciences, to discuss the direction that he wants academic affairs to take specifically for health and behavioral sciences. Tentatively, depending on meeting times that are being set up with other committee members and their deans, the Academic Affairs Committee will have a strategic plan by October the 18th. That is tentative based on meeting times. The Academic Affairs Committee will have a mission established, and it will be announced at next Monday's Senate meeting. I have the distinct honor of attending a faculty senate meeting tomorrow with President Lalu to introduce myself and hopefully members of the Academic Affairs Committee to the faculty senate and let them know that even though we are a branch of the Student Government Association, that we are here as a resource for faculty as well to listen to their concerns and see how we can impact and influence students from a faculty's perspective as well. I've discussed previously with the SGA Executive Committee and have reached out to the Interim Dean of the Honors College, Dr. Patricia Smith, about adding an Honors College representative to the Student Government Association. During our Exec Committee meeting, we were talking about setting up a meeting with the Council of Deans just to figure out what their individual perspectives are for their colleges, but maybe some goals that they want to tackle as a council themselves that they would like to see academic affairs take on. And it occurred to me that the dean for the Honors College serves on the Council of Deans, but there is no Honors College representative on SGA. So that is something that I'm very interested in pursuing. And if you have, any of you guys have any comments about that or any suggestions, I'm definitely open to that conversation. Finally, I'm awaiting a response to be placed on the agenda for the Council of Deans meeting to formally introduce myself and other members of academic affairs to the rest of the deans and let them know that even though you have a specifically designated representative for your college, that all of us are here to further push academic excellence and success at UCA. So.
Are there any questions for, yes, Vice President?
So, okay, so have you already spoken with Patricia Smith about this, or is it something that's going to happen?
I have. I sent her an email this morning and got a very quick response back that this is something she's very interested in pursuing and looks forward to working with academic affairs and SGA to make this a reality for our association. Gotcha.
Are there any other questions? No? Okay, great job. Very, very proud of you guys for all of that hard work. Up next, Diversity Committee, Senator Markley.
Hey. So we met last Wednesday to have our interviews for our non-SGA student representatives. And we have a full committee now, so we had interviews around 2:01, and so now we have all of our members of the committee. We'll meet again next Wednesday to kind of move on from here, to kind of mesh together as a committee, and then kind of start tackling our events throughout the year. Each of the non-SGA student representatives were paired with an SGA representative based on their answers in their interviews, and so they can work together in the teams. And because the rooms students in the workbook, our next meeting will be in Main Hall, room 214 at 3 o'clock on Wednesday, if anybody wants to. And if you don't mind, can I yield this part to Senator Eddie Lucille? Or let me go business fair Saturday.
Absolutely.
Okay. So I did have the opportunity to attend Amigo Fest on Saturday. That was actually a lot of fun. I do have a lot of pictures and some videos that I will send to Vice President McAfee. But it was very interesting to see that even though one of the complaints from Senator Sear, one of the concerns he raised was that it was targeted primarily to Latino and Hispanic students, I did see a lot of diversity in attendance at Amigo Fest, so I was actually very impressed because that was also a concern of mine, that maybe we were targeting one population of students and not being inclusive to the rest. It was interesting, inspirational to see that we as a university are really pushing and advocating for diversity as one of our pillars, and that we are exhibiting that in a positive manner. It was so nice to meet so many of the different Latino associations and get to talk with their leaders and see kind of why they chose to do this event, why they continue to push for this, and it was a great experience. I also enjoyed seeing some of my fellow senators in attendance as well, so I commend those of you that attended for that one.
Thank you.
Thanks for going for it. And then lastly, I just want to let you all know that the Office of Institutional Diversity and the UCA Graduate School will be hosting the HBCU Outreach, which is a program to kind of give out more information to African Americans that are interested in going to grad school after attaining a bachelor's degree. And you will need to RSVP for this event, so contact your office for that. And it will be November 10th from 10 to 3. The Feminist Union will be hosting an event called Take Back the Night tomorrow at 6:30 p.m. in the amphitheater, where they have a silent protest and end the night with a candle lit, where they have speakers come out and talk about sexual and domestic violence and assault. Oh, and we all received an email, I'm sure, about LGBT History Month this month, and so this week they'll be hosting events all throughout the week to kind of support the LGBT community, and they'll have coming out day, a drag show, pride walk, and then they'll also be attending Little Rock Pride at the end of October. So that's it.
Can you repeat the black graduate?
Yeah. It will be November 10th, which is a Friday, from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. in the Fireplace Room.
Are there Yes.
Can you tell me what fireplace room is?
McCaslin.
McCaslin fireplace room.
Yeah. So when you go into McCaslin, instead of going to the left for the ballroom, it's to the right.
Okay. Oh yeah, that's where it's at.
Center with.
And what's the name of the event called? For the masters, like to get your master's?
HBCU outreach. And usually they reach out to like HBCU students, but this year they expanded to all African American students. Like at any institution.
Are there any other questions for Senator? Excited for you having your full committee. Yay. Thank you. Okay. Thank you, Senator Dykes. We'll go into goal committee reports, campus interactions. Senator Miller.
Hello. Okay, so Senator Dykes has been working incredibly hard on getting puppies back on our campus. So she is just tying up the loose ends, and hopefully we'll see that next week, right at midterms, for just a couple hours outside, and we'll walk them around and do fun things with dogs. So come see us. She's also working on, specifically this week, the purple caps and gowns. We're hitting it hard. There will be purple caps and gowns. It's going to happen, mark my words. Also, Senator Marbley is waiting to hear back on like meeting times with the College of Education Dean and other respective colleagues of that to get the child care services really up and running. So he's done a great job of designing questions to ask them, and he knows like exactly what he's going to say and whenever he actually does get to sit down and speak with them. So I've been really impressed with him. And Senator Willie is continuing to look at potentially what locations on our campus would be the most effective to have ball convocation at next year for like the student body, just because it's so hard to get like so many people in one place at one time. So she's just really doing a lot more research on that, just like the logistic parts of it. And Senator Rivera is going to start creating promotional material, and she's going to work with the PR committee. So Senator McAfee, watch out. Vice President McAfee, but for like the specific programs that Career Services offers that our students just don't know about as much as like we feel that they should. So she'll be contacting them, looking at, you know, what's their like highly used programs, and then we're going to promote that from like our social media presence as SGA and obviously as senators. So please like be resharing stuff like that just so that our student body, you know, sees it as much as possible. And I am working on the investiture luncheon, so yippee! I got to schedule a location, so it's going to be outside at the Student Center Amphitheater. And it's going to be from either 12 to 2 or 12 to 3 p.m. on October 25th. It's just going to be like a come and go as you please type of thing for President Davis, just be able to interact with the student body, like very casual. But we're super excited about it just because we have like an actual block of time to like pay our respects and congratulate him on like this huge honor. So please make a point to come by. And I'm working with Aramark. I heard from them today about like little refreshments. So we'll have little fun snacks and stuff. And I'm going to talk to you about how to pay for it. So that's what we're doing in campus interaction. So that's all I have.
Are there any questions? Senator Robinson.
Hi. So fall convocation, that's one thing that could you guys look at. So other universities that do it, they have like a common greeting aspect to it. So every freshman is required to read a book. So for me, it was the story of Henrietta Lacks. And at freshman convocation, we would invite the author to come give this huge keynote. Because that's one thing that the graduate school dean was wondering about that she would like to see. Because we don't have that aspect, it's really just tailored towards freshmen and first year transfer students. To make it more like campus wide, you could bring like a huge author or something. And it might not be something that can happen next year, because you have to put in acceptance letters and get every freshman on board, but maybe in like 5 years. Something we could common read at every freshman.
Okay. Thank you. Senator Griffin.
Will the purple gowns be an option, because purple is my color and I graduate in spring?
We really don't have any information on it yet, but as we start looking at like the details, the logistics of like the actual purple caps and gowns, if it's mandated like for every single student or if it's an option. So whenever we have that information, Senator Dykes will give it to you. We just don't know it yet. So.
Are there any other questions? Just a quick thing about the venue. I just thought that this Ferris Center would be a good option. Okay. Alrighty. Housing and Food, Senator McGarity.
Okay, so this morning in Indiana we met with Dr. Stephanie McBrayer, and she's looking into creating a survey that would kind kind of measure the students' reaction to the current food field plans and everything, like around campus. So we'll be helping with that. Senator Barnes is currently making survey questions regarding the hour shift in cafeteria, the recyclable to-go boxes, and the Apple Wallet idea. Senator Whitby is doing research on the Apple Wallet idea for $90. Senator Robinson is seeing if SGA could put together some survey questions to see if students would be willing to pay more for 24/7 desk service in residence halls. Jim Neighbors is coming again to meet with us next Monday, and then looking into doing a Hendricks and CPC visit. So I think next Monday we're going to be going to Hendricks to wait in the cafeteria and just kind of seeing what they're doing. So,
are there any questions for Senator Majority? Vice President Huff?
What day were you doing that Hendricks visit?
We're wanting to do next Monday.
Next Monday? Okay.
Any other questions? Senator Sierra?
Yeah, I just wanted to add, Senator Rivera came to us asking about new plans, like different students were confused about it. We talked with team members and said he will start to create some flyers to put around the cafeteria.
Awesome. Any other questions? No? Okay. Internal Affairs, Senator Morrison.
My report isn't that exciting, but we're keeping on the dialogue, and we are doing great. We have too many previous notices that we can't even present them all at once, so we're not going to slow down, so just be ready. So we have 2 coming tonight and 5+ more on my computer waiting.
Are there any questions
Thumbs up for Internal Affairs. Internal Plural, because we have so many previous.
Are there any questions for Senator Morrison? Great job to you and your committee on that. Outreach, Senator Stock.
All right, so we finally have a rough draft of our DACA resolution that we're going to be getting with Vice President Riggins on and looking it over, making sure everything looks good. Because lo and behold, we're not all the best resolution writers, and it's going to be fine because we're going to get it nailed down. Leo has sent 2 awesome ideas that we can use to spark more recycling on campus. And then Ms. Shar has actually sent me, has sent some awesome ideas too. We're going to explore maybe doing a video that we can show at football games to encourage people to recycle there. Exploring that option and anything else. Will Teeter, bless his heart, he has been mapping the entire campus, showing where the outside recycling bins are. He's doing a great job. And we're going to be looking at that and hopefully getting with Larry Lawrence and still discussing the possibility of spreading some of the recycling bins that we already do have. Pauline met with Dr. Mell and Dr. Gallagher and discussed the bike-friendly improvements that we can make to our campus, and along with some future locations for the Zagsters, is what they're called. Is that correct? Zagsters? For the little places where you put your bike and then you can check it out and ride it somewhere and check it back in. So she's killing it on that, and that's all I have.
Are there any questions for Senator Stone? No? Okay. Safety, Senator Askew.
All right. So first and foremost, we have kind of gone through our goal list so far. So we last week we all kind of agreed that we just needed to take the week to kind of think of some more goals in terms of campus safety, maybe get some feedback from our friends or other fellow students. And on Wednesday when we have our meeting, we're just all going to come back together and compile those, and hopefully we'll have some new goals ready to go. As for the goals that we have going currently, disability services. We have contacted disability services to ask for kind of support on what specifically are handicap accessibility issues on campus so that we can more effectively address those. The emergency phone polls, so kind of the rule with those is that anywhere on campus that you are, you're supposed to be able to look all around and see at least one phone pole. Well, one of our committee members has gone out and she's mapped part of the campus. I don't know if she's quite done yet, it takes a while, but she's mapped part of the campus and found that that's not necessarily true. That there are several spots on campus where you can't see a phone pole from, so that's the issue. So we're going to see if we can get some new ones installed. The lighting outside of the library has been pretty dim. So we've contacted the physical plant and they said that that should be a pretty easy thing to fix. They're probably just going to install some new wall packs and they should be keeping us updated on that. We inquired about shuttle service expansion, and basically the physical plant just told us that they're already spread thin enough as is, so that's not really something that can be done at the moment. And we have kind of been curious about the option of commuter parking on campus. So we're wanting to push out a survey on that, and if the feedback is good, then Senator Gilbert will take that idea back to the Parking and Traffic Committee. And lastly, I will be meeting with Mindy Pitkin on Friday to talk about Fair Patrol and its future and all that good stuff. So that's all.
Are there any questions for Senator Askew? Great job. Student Resources, Senator Barton.
So, Student Resources Committee did not meet last week on Wednesday due to some personal illnesses some of our committee members had. But Senator Abbott was able to meet with Mr. Richard Hammond about some of our projects that we have in the works, and she's still diligently working on those. Senator Ramirez met with Ashley Berry regarding the Fairfax Days and some improvements that they're going to try to get done with them. Senator Griffin will be meeting with Ashley Berry and Courtney Bryant for some admissions things. Senator Collins is still working on the Bear Central boxes that I mentioned last meeting, but she's working on prices and she's meeting with Leslie Hayes for more information on that. And I met with Mr. Richard Hammond last Wednesday in regards to the hyper-aquatic center policies, and we had a nice conversation with the aquatic center director. What is her name? Carrie Ann. Very nice woman. And we were actually able to change that policy and striking the gender-pointed language to where it's now just kind of a very broad definition of modesty that's left up to the lifeguard's discretion. And those lifeguards are our peers, so that is our definition of modesty as well. And so it's not true that everyone has to go out and buy a one-piece swimsuit. That's just not true. And I'm sure we'll be in contact with you about that. And I can include the policy change in the minutes with Vice President McAfee if you'd like, instead of reading it here. So that's what we're doing.
Are there any questions for Senator Burton? Senator Officer.
Well, thank you for changing the policies in our work. I was wondering if this was going to be advertised to other UCA students?
We can certainly do that in some sense, or it can be on a case-by-case thing. I'm sure the pool rules are posted in the aquatic center.
Yeah, we'll put it on the website like normal, where you click on it for pool rules, so that change will be located and all that also. Unfortunately, the sign that's the interior pool sign is something that's, you can't just pull off one line, you got to replace the entire thing. It's not a cheap thing to do. So we're looking at redoing that entire sign to make more of those rules, generic rules that will mostly never change, and probably do away with those rules that are on there that are questionable type stuff, so that we don't have an issue of that. And then we'll put at the bottom and say, please see the website for more specific rules and do those type of things. So yes.
Certainly, if anyone approaches you, definitely mention that the rule has changed, specifically the language.
I just want to give a round of applause to Senator Barton and Mr. Great job. Okay, University Committee reports. Senator Barnes.
So, core council met last Tuesday, October 3rd. I just wanted to say that the chair of the committee is Dr. Jacob Held, and he's doing a wonderful job evaluating core, in my opinion. And I also had him last semester, so I'm biased. Anyway. So the first order of business was to review an assessment report that was given to us prior to the meeting
just for us to approve it. It was on the responsible living courses within the UCA core, just an evaluation and assessment of that. Second was the chair of the curriculum committee also serves on the committee with us, and she presented political science and English courses, and those were all approved. There were some others that need like some clarification, and those will be reviewed and approved likely at our next meeting in November. And then the third order of business was to review a couple courses, specifically theater 2300 and film 2300. Those are appreciation courses, and those courses will be moving from the humanities fine arts area. I'm sorry, I'm talking so fast, Megan. To belong under the diversity creative works section of the UCA core, so they're kind of becoming more broad. And then the introductions to courses in the English department will be becoming one specific course that will be a topics in course. So it's not going to be introduction to drama, introduction to fiction, introduction to literature, etc. It's just going to be a topics in course, kind of a catch-all. And so that's, yeah, it's the end of my little report.
Thank you. Any other, Senator Redding?
I attended the Online Learning Advisory Committee, and it never ceases to amaze me just how much these people have the students' best interest in mind. It's awesome. So if you are taking any online classes and you see a change that needs to be made, or if there are some injustices out there to students, please let me know, because they're active all the time, not just when we have meetings. But this time we talked about, for online students, the final exam rules. There have been some issues, like when we get to the final exam, we have to have cameras, or we have to have certain software that maybe is not compatible with our computer. So you go the entire semester, and then you have this huge hurdle for your final exam, and it's so stressful for the students and for the professors. So now that's going to be a requirement that they have to state in their syllabus any software or technology that you have to purchase to take your final exam, as well as other coursework. Again, I think it's awesome. I get really excited about it because I take online classes all the time. But again, you or your friends, if there's anything you'd like to see changed, this includes Blackboard too. They directly work with faculty and how they operate Blackboard. So let me know if there's any changes that you see fit, and talk to your peers and let me know. So thank you.
Senator Griffin?
Are there like certain, because I wanted to take a science class online, but I noticed that it's only offered in the fall. And is there any
There's not rules. I'd be so happy to talk to them about that. They don't work so much with the scheduling of what classes will be offered online. It's just so much as the makeup of the courses, but I'm sure they're directly correlated, and they work with people who schedule things, because I know that's a huge issue too. For seniors, the higher up you get, you can only take classes spring and fall. So I can get with you after if it's a specific science class, and I can maybe talk to them and we can figure something out now and answer for you.
And then my last question is, I updated my phone with the Blackboard app doesn't work anymore. It's a struggle.
You're not wrong. The Blackboard app does not work anymore. There's 2 Blackboard apps, and I had one that worked for a while, and then it didn't work, and then I got the other one and it worked, and now it doesn't work, and I think the old one does work. I really don't know. I can talk to them about that too. There really are 2 Blackboard apps. I don't know if one's legit and one is false.
Yeah, so it's like black and orangish with the B on it. That was the older one, probably what we're familiar with. It doesn't work on like the new software update for Mac, but there's another one. It has a blue background with a pencil on it, and that one does work. However, for your iPads, it's on the mobile screen, so you'll have to like turn your iPad sideways to look at it. So yeah, that's what's going on with that. But I would recommend downloading the blue one, and it is a change, but
yes.
Okay. Any other university committee reports? Senator Ramirez.
Senator I'm here rising to speak. So in a couple of weeks, undergraduate council will be meeting. There is legislation that's been shared with me that's been created to add or remove courses. And if you are very curious to see what those are, please come to me and I will let you know, because there's a lot. So this will affect accounting, sociology, criminology, anthropology, Asian studies minor, biology, marketing and management, Bachelor of Science in Family Consumer Science, Health Sciences, Management, Information Systems, Music, and Political Science. And so there is a lot of legislation that's being in place to add and remove courses, and there's a lot of information on that, and I didn't want to take more than 10 minutes speaking about it. So if you guys are very curious to see what those bills or legislation passed to be communicated, please come to me about it, and I will let you know. And if you guys have any concerns, let me know about it, because I'll be speaking on behalf of SGA in that undergraduate council.
Thank you. Is there more adding or removing?
It's mixed.
Okay, awesome. Everyone, please contact him and be sure that you're getting your input so he can express that during the meeting. Great job. Any other? Oh, do you have a question?
Could you just attach it to the minutes? Is that possible?
I'm not sure what the rule is on that. Like, if I'm allowed to share with everyone. I'll have to see with the chair about that first, and then I'll get back to you in 48 hours.
Okay, if not, I just want to see
yeah.
on the biology.
Are there any other questions for Senator Ramirez? Okay, Senator Andres. Oh, you had a question, sorry, Senator Dykes.
So like, when we want to see you, have to come to you and read the paper, or you going to email us?
I can just give you the information because it's all on Google Drive, and I can just show it to you on my laptop, or I can just tell you about it. And, I have my laptop with me in my suitcase, so just let me know.
Are there any other questions? No. Okay, Senator Andres.
So the APSEC committee met today at 2 p.m. Due to the confidentiality and sensitivity of the information, I can't tell you what exactly happened, but a lot of work was done. And the second meeting of the committee and the last one for this semester will be at the beginning of December.
Thank you. What committee was that? APSEC.
APSEC committee.
Could you explain what that is?
Yes, I can't tell you exactly which letter means what. It's for allocating money for students that have exceptional financial needs.
Any other questions for Senator Andres? Are there any other university committee reports? Senator Whitney.
So on behalf of Senator Sierra, he asked me to attend a diversity advisory committee, and so they met last Thursday on X period, and it basically consists of a 6-page proposal with their preamble, diversity statement and stuff. And so the overview that stated is that as an inclusive committee, UCA students, faculty, and staff and administrators commit to a comprehensive and inclusive definition of diversity that acknowledges the importance and presence of diversity, inclusion, and equity within the broader educational mission of the university. The UCA committee implements applicable changes efforts considering the context, cultures, politics, and economics of campus diversity. The UCA committee accepts responsibility to advance a positive and inclusive campus climate for diversity, to show respectfulness for the contributions of all students and employees in all capacities, and to promote and endorse the principles and practice of inclusive excellence. And so, if anyone would like to see this packet, I can send it around so everyone can see it.
Awesome. Are there any questions? Senator, I think you're Sarah.
Is it possible to attach that to the minutes?
It's a printed copy, but
I can scan it in if you want to see it.
I'll be.
You can just forward it to me. Thank you.
Are there any other questions? Are there any other university committee reports? Yes, Senator Whitney.
On behalf of the housing exemption, we did have a request, for someone to be exempt from housing, and we voted through email, and so I can't really just share information, but it was approved, and we're supposed to have our first meeting on October 26th.
Are there any other university committee reports? Nope. Okay, we will go into unfinished business? There isn't. So we will go into new business. Is there any new business? Senator Morrison.
Okay, in accordance with the SGA Constitution and SGA Special Rules of Order, notice is hereby given that the following Constitution/bylaw amendment will be considered at the next regularly scheduled SGA meeting on 10-16-17. I didn't know about whatever. It's going to be Article G. I don't know my Roman numerals. Section 9, letter G, page 10. And this is to add that the SGA Sergeant at Arms is responsible for dress code, like monitoring dress code when we come in, and fixed grammatical errors. Please be nice to me. It's my first one. And inconsistencies.
Excellent. And just to give a little bit of a quick update, so previous notice is just a notice of what we will be voting on next week. So we will not be voting on it this week. It's just to give you guys time that, like a heads up, like, hey, this is coming up, so you guys can look over it and ask any questions to the Internal Affairs Committee of why this was done and kind of share feedback and gather any concerns if it pertains to this. So just to answer that question for anybody if you were confused. So, okay. Is there any other new business? Sarah Morrison?
Okay, this is going to be better. In accordance with the SGA Constitution and SGA Special Rules of Order, notice is hereby given that the following Constitution/bylaw amendment will be considered at the next regularly scheduled SGA meeting on 10/16/17. It's Article B again, Section 9, letter B, pages 8 through 9, and this is to add legislation on the Senate live stream. Basically, we're just putting it under the Executive Vice President's position. So someone, we know that we have our bases covered.
Okay, so everyone do your research, look this stuff over, and be ready to vote at the next meeting. Is there any other new business? No? Okay, we'll go into announcements. Are there any announcements? Senator Smith.
Okay, the College Against Cancer, it's an RSO here on campus. They're teaming up with the American Cancer Society, and they're putting on the Relay for Life out from the Student Center tomorrow between 10 and 3. I'll be out there with a couple of my pledge brothers between 12 and 2, getting our bodies painted, and we'll be sending some bathtubs, for sure. Yeah, just throw some money in the bathtubs if you're feeling you need to give some money to cancer. If you would like to volunteer to get your body painted gold and to stay in the bathtub for a couple hours while people throw money at you, I have a phone number here. If anybody wants it, talk to me afterwards. I'll give it to you. It's up to anybody. Can you get a key? Come on. No, it's for cancer. Unless you want to. But anyway, yeah, that's it. So Relay for Life tomorrow, 10 to 3. So come and support that, and it'll be right from the student center.
Awesome. Are there any other announcements? Senator Evan Gurley-Sarah.
Okay, a less exciting announcement. The Student Evaluation of Teachers, or SEC University Committee, will have a meeting on October the 20th at 10 a.m. and I will be unable to attend that meeting. If there is another senator that will be available at 10 a.m. on October the 20th and could attend that university committee meeting, please let me know.
Senator Massey.
My Greek organization, Alpha Sigma Alpha, is still selling butter braids. So if you want to buy one, please let me know because I still need to sell mine.
Buy tomorrow. Senator Locking.
I will also be unable to attend the Student Evaluation of Teachers because I'll be on the Hurricane Harbor Relief trip. So if anybody wants to take that spot for me as well.
Senator Willie.
I have a question. Can you repeat the time?
10 a.m. on Friday, October 20th.
Thank you.
If you're up appointment, can you get me to have a short meeting with you after Senate's over? Thank you.
Appointment.
Senator Sierra.
When is the committee for this evaluation?
It's Friday, October 20th at 10 a.m.
It's during fall break, and so I also have a meeting during fall break, and the response I was given was only students are on fall break, so. Yeah.
If the student's available, great. If
Yeah.
not, don't worry about it.
Yeah, if you're available and you're in Conway or on campus, then let us know, and if not, sorry. Okay. Senator Ramirez.
Yeah. So this past weekend, the speech and debate tournament, the debate team had its first tournament for the debate season, and we did really well. Your Senator Ramirez broke the octafinals for junior varsity, ninth place speaker overall, and 4th seed. But I'm not bragging about my accomplishments. I have something inspirational to say. Before the debate season, I was really nervous because I was moving from novice to JV, and I was so like, my communication is awful, and I was like putting this like self-fulfillment prophecy on me. And then when I went into debate, I totally, like, my speaking ability, my communication was so good, and I was like, oh my God, I freaking speak. And like, I can speak, and it was really great. And the overall message that I have is, don't let anything stop you from fulfilling your full potential. Because you have so much to offer. And I know there's a lot of people here who don't speak during like meetings. Don't be too nervous. Don't worry, we're all here to like support, and for sure we want you to like improve your skills. So like, please.
Yes. Thank you and congratulations, Senator Marbley.
I just wanted to say Ebony Models will be hosting a clothing drive on this Thursday, during XP in the Student Center. So if you have any clothing that you don't need, women's approaching, so I want to throw away some summer stuff, or give away some summer stuff, then we'll be down there during XP. And we're having a pumpkin carving thing for students at 6 o'clock in the amphitheater, so come out and cut some pumpkins.
Vice President Powell.
SAPA committee, just remember that we're meeting in here tomorrow for deliberations and not 207. There are no more hearings, we're done with that. So come here at 4:30.
Senator Barnes.
I will be giving a lecture on the chaos and camaraderie of community theater that I experienced this summer in my production of Heather's the Musical at Community Theater of Little Rock as part of Honors Soapbox programming this semester. It will be at 3:30 in the Ferris presentation room in Ferris Hall on those. If you want to come, oh, this Friday, sorry. Yes. If you want to come listen to me ramble about stuff. No, I'm 3:30. You can come at 3, listen to all the soapboxes, or the soapbox before mine. It's about role playing and like I don't even know, like just cosplaying kind of. And then after that is mine about community theater. And that's it.
Vice President Reagan.
Student life, let's hang out, so don't leave, thanks.
Senator Gilbert.
In case any of y'all were wondering, Senator Askew didn't really touch up on this. Commuter parking, the ideology behind that is to give commuters a permanent spot on campus so that they can park, similar to what other colleges have, so that they don't have to fight for parking, because they are the ones that have the biggest issue with parking on campus.
Are there any other?
I have a question for.
Yes.
For that, like, actual spot, will commuters have to pay, or will it be like just? Okay, so we will be discussing that with the parking committee. Senator Smith and I will be discussing that with the parking committee, actually.
Oh yeah.
But as of this time, it is the thought that commuters will be charged a semester fee for the right to park in those spots, and they will buy their own tag, just like we would buy our own tag. But our tags are factored in, and their tags will probably be factored into their cost as well, in place of a residential tag.
Senator Griffin?
I'm sorry, I know we're ready to go, but just a thought and to challenge us. I feel like we take strides to make UCA the most diverse college here, but what are we doing like around the community to make it more accepting and diverse? Because it's some really racist people out here, especially around Conway some places, and sometimes I don't even like to go out. So that's just my challenge. Like, what are we doing in our community to make it more accepting and diverse?
Senator Eddinger Lucero.
So I have two. One, academic affairs, please stay behind as well. The second, Senator Ramirez may not like to brag about himself, and normally I don't, but I'm going to. So this past Friday, I serve as the Arkansas Association of Family and Consumer Sciences Student Unit Chair, and had the opportunity to, as the chair, host the annual Fall Leadership Conference at Arkansas Education Television Network. And it was a success, and I'm very glad that it's over, so I just wanted to share that accomplishment.
Okay, are there any other announcements? Senator Andres.
Yes, just wanted to let you know that this Thursday, I don't remember if it's 7 or 7:30 p.m. In Reynolds, the Women's Ensemble and the band are going to be playing a concert.
Awesome. Senator Allen.
There was an announcement about appointments. Can you repeat that, please? I can get it.
Oh, just to stay after.
Yeah, just to stay after.
Yeah. Are there any other announcements? No? I just want to congratulate you guys for all the work that you're doing on SGA and on campus and the community. So keep doing what you're doing. Keep looking fabulous in your polos and name tags and business casual. So with that, meeting is adjourned.
Meeting with people. Is anybody on exec meeting with them to